Hello all, welcome to another edition of Quick Tip videos brought to you by dataplatformcentral.com. In this weekly edition of Quick Tip, we are going to see a couple of table detection enhancements which were publicly released in the April feature summary of Power BI. The first one of these is called Excel table detection, which helps the Power BI to scrape data from multiple data regions within the same Excel sheet onto multiple tables inside the Power BI model. This comes extremely handy in cases where we want to work with Excel sheets which consist of multiple tabular regions inside the same sheet itself. So when we use the Excel connector inside Power BI will provide us with a list of suggested tables which we can go through and then decide which of the tables actually represents a table of data for our Power BI model. On selecting those tables, the data from those data regions will be automatically ingested into the Power BI model. The second option, which is called text or CSV by example, helps us to scrape data from text or CSV files. Based on how we define the values for each of the columns inside our table, Power BI will automatically try to scrape the values from the available text or CSV file based on the position, etc. kind of factors. And finally, we will be able to get a full table of required data from the poorly formatted text or CSV file based on how we scraped or we defined one or two values for each columns. Both of these features are extremely handy while working with real-time Excel sheets and CSV or text files which are not in any kind of consistent format. So let's see a quick illustration on how the two features can be used inside Power BI for ingesting data from multiple data regions or from multiple columns. For the sake of this illustration, let's have a look at an Excel sheet like this, which consists of multiple data regions which contains tables containing different data entities. Now let's see how we can use Power BI to extract data from these different data regions within the same sheet so that the data can be loaded into multiple tables inside our Power BI model. Let's open a blank Power BI sheet and use the Get Data option to point to this Excel which consists of this multiple data regions. So once we point to that Excel, you can see Power BI giving us a preview of the sheet data as a whole as usual. But in addition, if you see, there is a portion called suggested tables which consist of different table parts. If you check those tables, you can see that the tables are based out of the different data regions that you have inside your Excel sheet. In addition to the default functionality. The default functionality considers all of them as a single sheet. So depending on our requirement, if you want them as separate sheets, we can use these suggested tables to load into our Power BI tables. For this purpose, just click on the refresh button so that you will get the selection boxes against those data regions. So once you get the selection boxes against the data regions, just select those selection boxes so that we are extracting those data regions as separate tables. And then you can click on transform data so that all those tables get loaded inside your Power BI model. And once the tables are loaded inside, you can go to each of the tables and you can rename them to corresponding table names. For example, if you see the first one, it consists of the different categories. So we can name them category table. Similarly, for the second table, we will name it as subcategories. And finally, the third table we will name it as value attribute. Now close and apply and you can see that all these three tables have been added to your Power BI model. So in effect, we have separated the data from a single Excel sheet based on the data regions into separate tables which is added to our Power BI model. This is the new feature called Excel table inference. Now we shall see how we can use the text var CSV table using examples feature. For this purpose, open a blank Power BI window, use the Get Data option and click on text/CSV option and we have a sample CSV file with data which is not in any kind of consistent tabular format. So on selecting that file, you can see that Power BI shows the preview, and as seen from the preview, the data is not in any kind of proper tabular format. Now we'll be using the table by examples feature so as to extract data from this file. For that, click on extract table using examples feature, and when it loads the extract table using examples window, type in few values which you want to extract manually. For example, our first value is 15345, which is the ID column, so you'll type it manually in the first column, and we'll be provided with lots of options. And now the second corresponding value will be 76568. So as we manually type one or two values, based on the algorithm that it uses, it will automatically help us to scrape the additional values. As you see, it will automatically fill the other values for us, 87989, etc. And similarly for the second field, we are going to type in John. So using the same rules, the system will automatically pick up all the other names like Mary, Johnny, Carmen, etc. And then we can go ahead and start typing sales representative. Again, it will automatically apply the corresponding rule and picks for us the front end executive, director, projects, etc. And finally, we will have the date column as well. And again, it will automatically scrape the corresponding date values for us from the different corresponding parts within your CSV file. So now we have completed scraping the required data based on the examples that we gave the system. Now we can click on transform data, and now you can see the complete table now. Based on the rules that we set, it automatically took the values for the other columns. Now we can just rename the headers. We can name the first column header as ID. So as seen from the example, we have renamed the columns to ID, name, designation, and DOB. So we will be ending up creating a new table based on the data with columns as ID, name, designation, and DOB. And the file was not in any kind of a proper tabular format. We defined the values, and based on the rules with which we found out the values, the system was able to apply internal algorithms to automatically fill the rest of the rows with corresponding values. Now you click close and apply, and you can see the new table being added to our model with the required values in its rows. So we have seen how we can use the extract table detection feature at first to split up the data within different data regions of an Excel sheet into different tables, and then we saw the text CSV using examples feature so as to extract or scrape data from a text file without any kind of proper tabular format. So these two features will make the developers' lives much more easier and increase the productivity by helping us with the suggestions or helping us with the system way of scraping values from within the different positions of your text file. Hope you enjoyed this useful session which explains how the latest table detection feature in Excel can be used for creating a table based on multiple data regions within the same sheet, as well as how the new table by examples can be used inside text CSV files so as to scrape data into a proper tabular format. Feel free to post your comments as before, and subscribe to my channel for getting such useful videos in future. Thanks all for your time. Meet you soon with another useful tip. Bye.